Okay, so my next solo anime project, now that I finished Licorice Recoil, is Sonny Boy. I remember Jose, it was either sometime last year or early this year, was telling me and Clay about it. I genuinely don't remember a word he said, but I remember he was talking about it. He's like, it's a show I really like. I had looked into it and went, okay, this is kind of interesting. I'm going to write it down on my list of shit to do. And, like, at some point when I'm like going through a bunch of anime, I will watch it. Now that I'm doing it, I am watching it. And I was talking to another friend of mine when I was telling him, he's like, now that I've seen Witch from Mercury, I'm getting the Gundam itch. And I was telling him, like, this is kind of the list of shows I want to get through before I get to Gundam. And he's like, dude, I fucking love Sonny Boy so much. That is my favorite isekai. Like, you know how much I love Konosuba. That is my favorite isekai. So I'm like, okay, I am watching this one next. I mean, next was already going to be Licorice Recoil. I was like, I know this one is next. I'm now slotting Sonny Boy after. So I watched the first 4 episodes today. It's 12 episodes, so I'm now a third of the way through. And I'm going to be completely honest, frank, and upfront. I kind of had to pull myself away from watching more episodes. I was like, I've got shit I need to do today. I've got, I don't want to go into any specifics. I mean, it's not like anything like super personal. It's like, yeah, I want to work on this, I want to work on this. I want to start reading Dune. At some point, I want to start Xenosaga 2, etc., etc. Like, I got other shit to do. I've watched a good amount of episodes, but I feel really invested. I'm really interested in seeing where this show goes. So the basic premise is a high school gets isekai'd. And it's not just like, oh yeah, like everyone in the student body. It's I think they said it's about 36 people, so I think it's supposed to be one class. But it's literally the high school itself also gets teleported along with the kids. And it's just in this big black void. And the show starts with them already being isekai'd. I think they've been there for a little bit. Some of the kids have superpowers. Like, one guy is telekinetic. One girl has, I can do shit with electricity. One guy is hearing a voice that's telling him things are gonna happen, so he believes he is hearing the voice of God. There's a girl who can essentially order things from Amazon, but she can order like anything and it gets there immediately and it's delivered by her cats. And it's on the box, instead of saying Amazon, it's Nyamazon, which has like a cat standing on it. It's an out there ability. I really dig it. And the implication in at least the first episode is that the main character, Nagara, his power is actually what allows them to shift between worlds. And it is confirmed it was either episode 3 and for sure in episode 4 that yes, that is his power. He is the one who took them here. He does not understand how it works. And there's a scene in episode 4 like, okay, this is your power, you can use it. Take us home. And he keeps trying, but he can't go. Like, he can shift them between worlds, but he can't go where he wants to go. He's almost kind of like I don't want to say a victim of his own power, because I don't know if that's quite accurate, but it's something he's not in control of. So, of course, it made me think of that scene from Spider-Verse. It's like, this is the kind of shit Miles could do. Like, he could turn invisible. Can't do it on command. He can't do it on command. Like, I thought of that instantly. So a lot of the show, not as much in episode 4, but there's kind of a Lord of the Flies vibe in the first 3 episodes of these kids trying to figure out how they want their society to work. Who are we going to put in charge? What are the rules of our society? What are the penalties for breaking the rules? And as they start shifting into other worlds, or at least find ways to access other worlds, the rules of each world are different. Like, when they're in the high school, they specifically say, like, anything in the high school that gets damaged or used up is replenished. Like, if you cut your hand is going to heal after a certain amount of time. If you take food from the emergency stores, it's going to replenish itself. Not immediately, but it will. The next major world is an island. shit doesn't do that on the island. If something breaks, it stays broken. But I assume that if you took it to the school, because the school is still there with them, it can reform. Not a hundo on that part. A big rule on the island is you can't take anything. It's like you can't take an item from somebody. You have to pay for it. You have to acknowledge that it's some kind of trade. You can gift something to somebody, but if you don't, it will catch on fire. Because the Amazon girl, the Amazon girl, is like, she has shit, but if someone just takes it, it'll catch on fire and it won't work. She has to essentially willingly give it, like, I actually like you, I want to do you a solid, or you have to trade. So they just create an app on their phones, because their phones still work, and essentially make their own like cryptocurrency that they use for trading, which I think is pretty funny. They do have a joke about it. It's like, yeah, this is how capitalism works. Like, yeah, why don't you give me stuff for free, Mizuho? Why don't you give other people shit for free? Because that's capitalism. I mean, it's the same from the world we're from. Why not make it the same here? Like, I get to benefit. I'm gonna fucking do it. I don't like these people. They're assholes. They treat me like shit. Fuck them. Like, almost the entire second episode was she was just kind of getting witch hunted. Which was, I don't remember if that ever happened specifically in Lord of the Flies, except for what happened to Simon. But you were kind of starting to see the mob mentality. And one thing I liked is how, whether this was intentional or not, it was just something I kind of picked up on. There's a rumor going around because they don't understand how the rule works yet. They just know, hey, the shit that Mizuho gives us catches on fire. Holy shit, Mizuho can set things on fire. This bitch is setting shit on fire. She's trying to hurt us. Because Nagata saw her at one point close to a fire and was like, huh, she's close to one of these kinds of fires. That's really weird. I wonder what that's about. And he tells that to a buddy of his, and then the buddy's like, guys, he saw her set shit on fire. No, I didn't. That's literally not what I said. And then someone else was like, holy shit, she can set things on fire. I'm gonna go tell everybody. And I was like, huh, what do you know? Rumors spread like fires. That's kind of something going on. That's a pretty clever metaphor. Not sure if it was done on purpose, but it was something I kind of saw in the episode and I really liked. The actual characters themselves, I like them enough. I like their interactions with each other. Again, I like them starting to figure out their powers or figuring out rules of the island. Like episode 3 is essentially the people who are ostracized. It's not even just ostracized from the group. It's kind of the people who are also forgotten by the group are essentially excluded and end up in their own little pocket dimensions. It's weird, but it's really cool and really interesting. Because I was thinking, because they're almost making it sound like these are the people who are ostracized, not included, and bullied. But that was what happened to Mizuho in episode 2. But she didn't get her own pocket dimension. And I think the reason for that is, as much as everyone didn't like her, they still acknowledged her. Like, this is someone who is important. We dislike her, but we can't just ignore her. We can't just forget her. But one of the guys here was like he streams regularly, but he has 0 viewers. No one watches him. He's easy to forget. This guy was easy to forget. This girl was easy to forget, to the point where people didn't really realize they were missing until they saw their bodies. Because the way this works, in that episode, it's someone's body will essentially be frozen in place, but their spirit is in like a pocket dimension doing shit. It's kind of weird, but I'll put it like this. I don't know if I can accurately or adequately explain it, but while watching it, I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. With the weird rules of this world and how, like, seeing it in action, I can follow what's going on. And I like that a lot. And then episode 4 was about invisible monkeys playing baseball. And I am not making that up, but somebody did. They're going on these long stories about MLB, Monkey League Baseball. and some of the history of these great players, and how this one monkey, his name is Blue, I believe, was like playing this epic game of baseball where he was a pitcher, and it was just strike, 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 and they're in the last inning, and he struck out 2 dudes, and he's thrown 2 strikes, and he is 1 strike away from a perfect game. 27 up, 27 down, no hits, no balls, just strikes, perfection, glory, immortality. And as he throws it, the world shifts a tiny bit, and the ball goes right down the middle, maybe not quite down the middle. You could argue it's a ball, you could argue it's a strike, and the ump says, ball 1. And Blue is pissed because there was his chance at perfection. And the crowd, who wanted to see this perfect game, are so pissed. Not at Blue, they're pissed at the ump. And Blue has this argument with the ump, essentially about, he's like, hey, why did you not call that a strike? Look at it, dude. My team right now is so far ahead in the 9th inning, it doesn't matter. It is like they have no chance at a comeback. This is inconsequential. It was that close to being a strike anyways. No one would fault you if you called it. And look at the crowd, what they want, what they need to see. You took that from them. And the umpire says, it doesn't really matter what the crowd wants. It's what I see. That is the rule of the game. It's like, no, I create the rules of the game with what I do here and what they want. No, I make the rules of the game because the rules of the game are set in stone. I am enforcing them. I am not enabling you. And then the crowd comes down and rips the umpire to pieces. Sure, dog. It was like a genuinely kind of interesting philosophical conversation in a way about, I guess, kind of the nature of a referee and what their job is, and like, do you give the people what they want or do you do what needs to be done? Which might be a major theme going forward. I'm not as sure. Also, invisible monkeys playing baseball, and it's like major lore throughout the episode. It was awesome. I loved it. And at the very end of the episode, a new person arrives on the island. It is a teacher who, gun damn, but a new character arrives. Because earlier, the guy who is hearing God is told that a savior is going to come, with the implication being that this is probably going to be that savior. I'm like, I want to know what happens next. Like, now that we have someone else, we have our first adult. What is going to happen? Is she going to be able to just get them out? I mean, there's like 8 more episodes, so clearly not immediately. How is this going to affect their society? Do they all just say, there's an adult now, they can lead us? Is there going to be a lot of conflict? We don't really have strong factions. Like, okay, these people are kind of close, these people are kind of close, like almost cliques, but we don't really have factions. Are we gonna get there? Like, I don't really know where it's going. But so far, I'm having a lot of fun with where it is. Is there anything else I really wanted to say? What does that say? Oh, that's the only thing I want. Oh, so number 1, there's no opening. There's no opening song. There's no opening animation. There's always a song at the end of the episode, like there's the credit music, and I was like, that's weird that there's no opening. Huh. Also, I've just noticed a lot of shots where people won't have faces. Which I get, I mean, on the one hand, it's like, okay, like, you know, in between frames, that's something that happens. It's more, like, they don't need to be super detailed. It's mostly just there to, like, carry motion. Or if someone's, like, more in the background, you don't have to make them super detailed. You can kind of get away with it. Like, I get it. A lot of times, though, it's like, no, they're not, like, super far in the background. It's not just an in-between frame. Like, they're just they just have no face for quite a while. It's really distracting. Like, it's, again, if it was like every now and then it's like, oh, I paused at a weird spot, that's fine. No, this is just kind of an art decision, and it's one I don't super care for. But overall, I am liking the show quite a bit. I don't know if I'll watch more later. Like I said, I got shit I want to do today. At this pace, I'll finish it Wednesday. I might end up finishing it sooner. Who knows? But liking it quite a bit.